Yes, a very big welcome to you as we talk everything SFNL Division 4 here at GameFace HQ, live in Studio 1. This is the GameFace Footy Show. I'll introduce you to my esteemed panel right here, starting with this guy, Will Hunter. How are you?
Very good, and rarely called esteemed too, so I appreciate the time.
You're a great man. Don't you let anybody tell you anything different. Another great man is...
Something different every week we do this.
Patrick Paddy Cook, how are you?
Good, mate. Good. Love talking footy, so
Yes, let's talk football. But first, before we do that, let's go to a GameFace app update.
G'day guys, time for another GameFace app update, this time Division 4 SFNL. Let's take a look at the results from the weekend, and unfortunately it looks like a bit of a one-sided affair in Division 4 over the weekend, with the average winning margin 64 points. South Yarra, they put together a four-quarter performance in their big win over Karen Patterson Lakes, while under lights Hallam, they chalked up their second win on the trot, this time over Dandenong. Frankston and Lyndhurst, they were the other winners over Moorabbin and Lindale respectively. Let's have a look at the ladder, and the Lightning's big win over Lindale was enough to see it reclaim top spot from Frankston on percentage, and it's the first time they've held that position since round 7. South Yarra, well, they moved 2 games clear into 3rd position, while it was Hallam, they were the big movers from the round, jumping from 6 into the top 4 due to their healthy percentage. Let's have a look at the stats, and in the goal kicking, well, CPL's Alex Wilson, he still leads the way in Division 4 with 39 majors, while Hallam's Jack Shalassian, he sits in 2nd spot after his 4-goal effort on the weekend. In the player rankings, South Yarra's Brandon Bird, he was simply outstanding on the weekend with his bag of 7 goals. He led the way in front of Lyndhurst's Jason Twite and Frankston Dolphin Sam Turner. Remember, there's plenty for you guys to check out and get involved with on the GameFace app across all 4 divisions: seniors, reserves, netball, women's footy, the works. So make sure you download the GameFace record app for free from the App Store or Google Play. Get your GameFace on.
Plenty of highlights there, plenty to talk about, some top stories for you. Huge win for Lyndhurst. Teenager in sparkling debut for CPL, and big bag for Brendan Bird. Say that 5 times fast as you can, Paddy. Big bag for Brendan Bird. That's actually not too hard.
I put that in there deliberately to try and trip you up. But
you didn't get me.
No, you're too good for me, mate.
But Will, let's talk about Lyndhurst. They kicked a massive score in the biggest win of the year, 107 points.
Yeah, it's Lyndhurst's biggest win of the year, and yeah, Cookie to my left has said that they're not renowned for kicking big scores, but 117 to 10 is a massive win.
it could have been bigger, but I think more the 10 against is the real talking point on this one. 1 goal for in a full game of footy to keep an opposition to that is massive. I think their against this year, Lyndhurst is only like 380, so that's doing pretty well. They're travelling well.
They're very good defensively, as you've said throughout the season. And
I did get a text message off one of the boys saying that I talk about it too much, and I shouldn't be telling people what they how they go about their football. But I think it's pretty obvious. Everyone's played them. Everyone knows what they're like. So
yeah. You talk a bit about them, and you say that they do play quite defensively, and they've got a good defensive brand, which is going to be a good finals brand of football. They'll do well in finals, but. What was the go with this game? They've just come along ready to play and ready to kick some goals.
I think they were a little bit quiet in the first half as well. Like that was it 16 goals in the second half they kicked. They just turned it on. It's really hard to compare with Lindale as well, because Lindale seemed to be dropping away a fair bit. This week Lindale and Dandenong is going to be interesting. So it's hard to read that. That could have been a lot worse if they had have kicked straight Lyndhurst, but. Yeah, tough day.
They just don't have the offensive weaponry that a lot of the other clubs have. They find it hard to kick winning scores. I mean, granted, they took the Moorabbin captain from last year, Dylan Bone, but he was amongst the goals pretty much every week for Moorabbin last year, but he hasn't really shot the lights out for Lindale, as the club would have hoped, unfortunately, and yeah.
They've had him all over the ground as well. Like, I went to a couple of games early on in the season and watched, and they had him through the midfield, they had him on the wing, they had him up forward. They were really moving him around. So whether it was just trying to use the one weapon that they've really got and get as much out of him as they can, and when you're doing that, though, it is taking some strike force away from your goal kicking. So
it's hard to play consistent footy, though, when you're playing in a different position every week. I mean, not anything you had to deal with in your
but they did try me. They did try me down back in my football career at Melbourne, and didn't last very long.
Who'd you play on?
I played on Scott Welsh against Adelaide.
Tough opponent.
He kicked 5. Robbo and runner come out. Get that before line, mate. they made the change.
You would have been lost down there, mate.
I was. I felt dizzy, nauseous, went back to forward line. And I think within the first 30 seconds I kicked the goal. So
And
I think
just equilibrium restored.
yeah, everything was okay. They've got a big game this week though, Lyndhurst. Will Frankston. We'll preview that a little bit later on.
Absolutely,
in
that will
the
be
show.
huge. 1v2, top of the table clash. Could be a grand final preview. That'll be absolutely massive, and looking forward to chatting that with you a bit later on, mate.
It's exciting to think about that one, so I'm looking forward to that.
A young man doing some nice thing is Colby Nanya. He debuted for CPL, aged just 16. That is a magnificent effort. As a 16-year-old, I wasn't anywhere near seniors football. Kicked 2 goals. Will be a handy player, Will.
Yeah, I think so. And our man Kano Padman was talking him up on social media during the week, but a very, very handy debut. And, you know, a 16-year-old just walking into a senior side doesn't happen all that often. So, fair effort for the young man.
Oh, it's huge. It's huge. Youngest player they've had since they've come back into the competition as well. So, for them as a club and for him and his family, that's massive. So, congratulations to Colby.
Busy week for Kano on social media, apparently. Should I leave that alone?
Oh, no. And if he's pumping up the young kid like that, I mean, full credit to him. I mean, the kid's obviously a very, very good young player, and you know, if he sticks around at Karen Patterson Lakes, then they'll certainly be better for it. So why not pump up the young man?
When you've had a tough, first half of the season, like apart from last week, they had won 3 in a row, but you've got to take as much out of it as you can. And if that's his way of getting his players up and about and excited about something, well, good on him. I'd back it.
It's very important that you look after your young fellas. You develop them all the way through. There's no secrets there. Everybody knows this. You've got to develop young kids to come through that maybe into the future. You've got a really strong club identity. Guys that really identify with the club and want to do well. They want to show up and they want to train. It's the only way to do it. You can't be paying for premierships. You've got guys that are coming from all over the country, all over the state or wherever, to try to buy a premiership these days. It just doesn't work. So I love that. I love that we're going to blood a 16-year-old. He's shown some talent. We're going to pump him up and we're going to bring some other guys through. And that's probably what CPL are all about at the moment.
I'd say with Division 4 as well, if you're going out and buying a premiership, it's not going to be sustainable. You really need to build it from within and push it up, and then as you become more successful, then hopefully just add bits and pieces, because that's how a club will create.
Absolutely.
And the other thing too, I mean, Division 4 footies, it's, I don't want to sort of talk down to Division 4 footy, but it's not really the...
Everyone's trying to get out of Division 4, basically,
it's not really the be-all and end-all. So most of the clubs there aren't going out and trying to buy Division 4 senior premierships. So kudos to you, Kano, for doing it the right way and getting the young kids involved. That's absolutely fantastic.
Good on you guys. Well done at CPL. They're doing some good stuff there for the future. We'll move on now to the Division 4 Team of the Week. You two boys have pulled out the best of the best from the last round, and you've come up with this. I'll hand it over.
Alrighty, starting from the back line, Sam Turner from Frankston Dolphins, Zach Woolcock from Lyndhurst, and Tom Rogers from South Yarra. Tell us a little bit about Zachy at full back.
So Zach played his first senior game last year as a 17-year-old. He's now 18. Good young kid. We used to call him Zachy Moon because he had a big afro.
Zachy Moon. Oh, I love it.
So he's a really, really good kid, good person, and well done on him for earning back his spot, because he missed out on the grand final last year with a broken hand.
Great movie, Semi-Pro. Great movie. Check out Semi-Pro if you haven't seen it.
From the half-back line, James Kang from Lyndhurst, Zach Marr from South Yarra, and Liam Hickman from Frankston. No, he's from CPL.
From CPL,
yes.
Yep. That's a typo on the run sheet. In the centre line, Brendan Reynolds from Hallam, Scotty Steghouse, who we had in last week and did a sensational job. Geez, aren't they shooting the lights out at the moment, the Arrows. And Callum Eifler from Frankston Dolphins on the other wing.
He's been consistent. From the half-forward line, Brent Rafferty from CPL, Hamish Browning from Lyndhurst, and Jack Charlassian from Hallam.
He's been handy find for the Hawks this year, Charlassian, and very handy in their win under lights too at Hallam, which is fantastic. I don't mind a night game. Need to be more of them, I think.
I like a night game, but they've got to be early. Especially at Hallam, it's freezing when you play there on a Saturday night right in the middle of June. Yeah, not for me.
You can get a long sleeve jumper to fix that. I know your thoughts on long sleeve jumpers.
No. Long sleeve jumpers are not welcome, guys.
No.
Thank you.
Don't do it.
I wholeheartedly disagree with both of you, and I'm outnumbered. Alrighty, and in the what do you mean an early night game? That's just a twilight game.
Well then, twilight game.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
No, you said night games have to be early for you to like.
No, early in the season.
Oh, right.
So between round 1 and round 5, where it's a little bit warmer, you're not in that dewy, horrible I know.
Tell you
I
what,
don't
if
go
you-
well under lights. So.
At the moment, if you start a game at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, it's a night game. It is that cold. We've got the short days going on at the moment, but we should move on.
We're wearing the new Swibs locker.
Yeah, turn the heaters on
tops,
in here.
but we've turned the heaters on, but doesn't matter. Anyway, in the forward line, just moving straight along, we mentioned it off the top, Brandon Bird in the forward pocket. Handy pickup for South Yarra this season. 7 sausage rolls.
Nice.
Not a bad day.
Handy,
Not a bad day at all.
handy return in their win. Lockie Fielding from Frankston Dolphins running out the square. And Jared McGrath from Lyndhurst, one of our favourites here on the show,
A little albino.
with the interesting haircut. Shaz.
Shaz and
Shaz
a beautiful little dyed moustache.
He dyes it, does he?
He does. It's horrible.
That
It's
is
really
Jason Ackerman style.
Yeah.
You can't be doing that. You
he-
dyed yours or you...
Never.
No.
No, never. No.
Robbo doesn't have, pure white hair either, with the black moustache, so it doesn't.
But that pure silver is coming through, mate.
Beat me to the punch.
So into the rucks, we got Julian Belfrage from South Yarra. Heard he had an absolute day out on the weekend. My boy Jason Twite from Lyndhurst and Sam Ferrari from Hallam, who has been ever consistent.
He has been and was BOG the previous week, won the medal in the Paul Thomas Cup. Very handy player. And in the interchange, we've got Angus Wood from Moorabbin Kangas, Jaden Maddox from Hallam, Colby Naina, as we spoke about, the 16-year-old, first game in the team of the week. What an absolute star. Keep an eye out for him. And Jakey McKinnon from Frankston Dolphins rounding it out. But as I inadvertently threw in there, the Swibs Locker kit that we've got in, some new shirts for this week. They're looking pretty flash.
Nice and comfy as well.
Yes, they are good. Swibs Locker can look after your football club too. If you are looking for some really great garb, this is the sort of get-up you can get. This is our media top here at GameFace, but they obviously do on-field, off-field apparel, and they are absolutely magnificent. GameFace.
The ugly sweaters as well, which
the ugly.
look
We
good.
highlighted those a few weeks back. They'll probably be really comfortable right now outside
Oh,
because
yeah.
it's freezing out there.
Wear
You
one
can
of
jump
these
on the
if I can.
GameFace app and check out what Swibs Locker do. Click through to the links, the Swibs Locker website. You can design your own get-up too.
You can. You can.
Your own club get-up. You can have a lot of fun with that. So Swibs Locker looking after us. Well done there, boys, with the team of the week. Question without notice. If you had to pick a best player in the league at the moment, the MVP, I mean, it might be a Scotty Steghouse because he's been fantastic this year. Always in that pivot position on the Division 4 team of the week. Have you got any other ideas on who might take home that award at the end of the year? I know there's a long way to go.
A couple from, and surprising, a couple from CPL. So Brent Rafferty has been really consistent this year. High quality player, fair bit of class. Alex Wilson, leading goal kicking, very, very good. Sam Ferrari has been really consistent.
He's been consistent. They haven't been winning as many games, and I could also throw Jack Shalassian into that as well. Those two have probably been the two standouts for Hallam.
Yep.
But you know what? That's a really difficult question.
Yeah.
It's and a really sort of, I guess, an open race. I mean, especially for the league medal. Speaking of which, you have a bit of news on that front.
Yeah, I've heard that Paul Morocha, the captain from CPL, has had a bit of a serious knee injury. To the extent of it, I'm not 100% sure, but hopefully it's not an ACL, and hopefully he can get back before the end of the season. So sad to hear that, but all the best in the recovery, Paul.
Yeah, we'll touch wood on that one. He did win the league medal last year,
I think runners up the year before in Div 3. So.
and that was when CPL they struggled in Division 3, didn't win many games, and yeah, he was right up there. He's as you say, an absolute star of the competition and one of the all-time great blokes as well. So
absolute quality person. So.
Oh, yeah, wonderful human being. So Masha, get yourself right, mate. Hopefully we can see you back out there shortly. All the best with the recovery.
Nicely said. Let's move on now to the round 10 fixture. I'm going to get some tips off you boys. We'll start off at the top there. Lyndhurst versus Frankston Dolphins. This is going to be an absolute corker, and I'd love to get down and watch this one.
This will be absolutely huge, no doubt about it. And, you know, for mine, probably the grand final preview. The two best sides in it, no doubt. On top of the ladder, one loss each.
Yep. Yeah, Lyndhurst jumped over the top of Frankston Dolphins to take top spot back this week. They're both in a really good spot and completely different game styles as well. Frankston really love to run and gun, and Lyndhurst really like to choke games up. So, battle of the styles here. Who's going to be stronger in what they try to do? I think it's going to be good.
It'll be absolutely huge. And who are you thinking gets the chocolates in that one?
At Lyndhurst, I'll say Lyndhurst because they play that ground better than anyone else. So.
Absolutely, I tend to agree. But what sort of score do you reckon they can expect to hold Frankston to? What would be their target? I mean, we talk about their ability to shut down sides. What should they be looking to do? What if they can restrict Frankston Dolphins to a certain score? What would be the target?
If they can keep them under 10 goals, Lyndhurst will win. Lyndhurst will win comfortably if they can keep them under 10 goals. Lyndhurst do have scoring power, and they've got Hamish Browning this year has played midfield. And it's surprising, but he did a massive pre-season. He's been playing as a midfielder and still kicking goals, and I think he's kicked 33, 34 goals as a midfielder this year. So
He's a serious unit too.
yeah,
Big fella.
Lyndhurst have some scoring power, but they move it around a lot and they change things up with their forward line. So they can kick a score, but they'll hold Frankston.
This may be a low-scoring game. I'm really hoping it is a very close-score game because that'll just make things really interesting when it comes to September. If it's a big blowout, I don't think I'll be too happy with that. So if you've got nothing to do, why don't you get down to Lyndhurst and check out that game? It's going to be absolute cork. We'll move on to the next game.
Why did you throw out a tip? Who do you reckon's
Well,
going to
I mean, I think because it's at home with Lyndhurst, the fact that they do play a defensive brand, without seeing them play a lot of football live, and just by what you guys have been saying about Lyndhurst this year, I really like them, and I think they're going to go a long way into September and probably take it out. So I'm going to go for Lyndhurst at home, purely for the fact that it is at their ground. If it was at Frankston Dolphins, I'd probably say that. But we play benign grounds, don't we, when you get to the finals. So these two teams are going to have some ding-dong battles, I reckon, at the pointy end of the season.
What you'll find as well, through when it comes finals, they're bigger grounds, and that'll suit Lyndhurst with how they set up. So.
Frankston isn't a small ground either.
It's an ugly ground, though.
Mate, I didn't say it was pretty. I just said it wasn't small.
Oh, that's what he... I'm going to leave that well. Yeah, moving on. Dandenong versus Lindale. Dandenong at home. Don't know who's going to win this. I'm not going to give you a tip. I'm going to hand it over.
You know what? I'm going to tip Dandenong in this one. I reckon they're primed for this one. Yep. I like the guys down at Dandenong. They're doing some great things. Luck hasn't really gone their way, but they're trying to rebuild the right way, and I really want to see them, actually get something to celebrate because it's been a really, really lean couple of years for them. And no disrespect to Lindale, of course, but a win would be absolutely massive for the people down at Dandenong, and I think this will be the day. On their home deck, they get it done.
I think I'm 100% with you. Dandenong will win this, I think. And just on scoring power, they're still kicking goals every week. So they only kicked 4 this week, but they've been kicking that 6 or 7 goals. Lindale won't have anything to be able to go with them, and Lindale have really dropped off in this back few weeks. So,
all right, we'll move on to the next game. It is Moorabbin at home to CPL, Will.
This will be a very, very high-scoring game, Robbo. A small ground at Moorabbin, and they've got some massive offensive firepower. CPL, even when they lose, they've been kicking some big scores as well. So this could be a shootout. Moorabbin at home, just.
Yeah, last time they played, it was a shootout as well. It was 103 to 106 or something like that. And yeah, CPL came from a few goals down at three-quarter time to pip them. This game could set up this 4th spot. I know it's really early, but it's important for both of these sides to win this. I am going to go Moorabbin, but mainly because it's at home.
Yeah, okay. And rounding us out in this round 10 fixture will be South Yarra at home to Hallam.
Ooh, interesting game. The must-win game for Hallam, I think, if they want to make the top 4. South Yarra, though, they're looking pretty impressive. They got the chocolates when they played down at Hallam early in the year, the GameFace live match of the day. And they turned in their Lee Park ground into a bit of a fortress, only 1 loss for the year against the Frankston Dolphins.
Yep.
I reckon they'll win again here.
Yeah, South Yarra will win this. I think Hallam have dropped off a little bit. They had a good win on Saturday night against Dandenong, but Dandenong to South Yarra are completely different, so South Yarra for me.
Do you reckon South Yarra have what it takes to be a real premiership threat? I mean, we speak about Lyndhurst, we speak about Frankston Dolphins obviously playing against each other this weekend.
Yep.
Can we throw South Yarra into the mix, or do you think it's a 2-horse race for the flag? Sorry to throw that question without notice.
You're right. It's for me, it's a 3-horse race. South Yarra are definitely in it, but they're probably half a step behind Frankston and Lyndhurst. But that said, with how they're progressing, and as Scotty Steghouse said last week, they had no pre-season. They didn't have a home ground. They didn't have numbers because they had nowhere to train. If they had have had a full pre-season, they'd be right up in the back with these sides. But In the back end of the season, when things start to get a little bit harder, when you're relying on that work that you've done through pre-season, that's when that hard work really shows off.
Yeah.
So
this is the time of the year that I'm looking at teams to perform well. And if you can perform well now, that means, and also injuries play a massive role in that. If you can get your guys out on the park, staying fit, keeping that fitness level up as you run into September, you can glide through. We go to the AFL and I often do this. Collingwood had a massive period this time of year last year and they got a massive run into that final series. They got them all the way to the grand final and they almost pinched it against a rampaging West Coast Eagles. So if I'm looking across any league anywhere, I'm looking for teams that haven't got many injuries, got their guys out in the park and playing pretty well in these hard months, because they are hard months now. They're cold. Do you go to training? Do you rock up? Do you put in? That's what I'm looking for at the moment. And Lyndhurst, they just doesn't seem like they're skipping a beat at the moment.
No, they're going very well. They don't have guys. I don't know what goes on at Frankston. I don't know what goes on at South Yarra, but I know at Lyndhurst there's a real good culture of regardless of what's going on, you get to training, you do the work. If you're injured, there's always something that you can do. So
yeah. Well, the highlight of that show for me was when Will said it. I didn't say it was pretty. I said it was small. That was absolutely brilliant for mine and well held on many fronts there for me as well. And you too, Paddy. We'll move on because that's the GameFace footy show for the Division 4. It's been fun. It's been great being next to you, Will.
I do a very nice double entendre, don't I?
Paddy, what are you going to watch this weekend, mate? Where are you going?
Yeah, I'll be at my game, but I'll really be checking out Frankston Lyndhurst. I'll make sure I'm all over that one.
Good on you guys.
You can check it out on the GameFace app, of course.
Absolutely. Download the GameFace app. You can not just watch the live stream games that you're a big part of, Will. We got all the sorts of highlights on there that you can check out for this division as well. We'll see you next week on the GameFace Footy Show for the Division 4 SFNL. Bye.
Get your GameFace on.